Hey guys, welcome back. This week I'm taking a break off from mysteries, and wanted to present some missed opportunities I really wish were in the game. It's possible that one or two of these might end up as additional DLC in the future, but I doubt it. For now, sit back and relax while I walk you through them. Here are 7 missed opportunities for Tears of the Kingdom. Number 1. A fusible Hestu gift. I'll start things off on the lighter side. As I'm sure you are all aware, there are 1,000 Korok seeds in the game. It's actually the same number of puzzles from Breath of the Wild, but this time there are 100 partner Korok puzzles, each one for you to reconnect with the other, or maybe to torture if you're so inclined. After consulting your online maps, wear that one silly hat for 40 hours, and search every inch of this map. You will get an appropriate prize for all your troubles, right? Sadly, it is the same prize as last game. A beautiful golden spiral seed from Hestu. This seems like a missed opportunity, because given the new mechanics of Tears of the Kingdom, they clearly should have made this item fusible. Imagine putting it on a long stick and poking those poor bokos with it, and if the item ever broke, you can just come back to Hestu and get another one. Or maybe the fusion would give even more durability to the weapon. An actual worthwhile reward for clearly what is a end-game accomplishment. Now with that joke opportunity out of the way. Number 2. Rebuilding settlements. One of the things I really wanted to see going into this game was the option of rebuilding settlements. Obviously, I know about Laurelin Village, how it was attacked, and the quest chain to liberate and restore it. While I personally like this quest, even if restoring the buildings is as ridiculously easy as shoving a log in a hole, what I really wanted was to restore the older settlements which had been destroyed during the calamity. At least to fix them, that way they could be re-inhabited. I imagine it would go something like this. First, you would have to go in and clear out all the monsters in the location. Afterwards, Hudson Company would need raw materials to set up new foundations. From there, you would need to go to the Temple of Time on the Great Plateau, obtain one of the newly made goddess statues from the statue there, and cart it all the way back to the settlement in order to provide it with safety. Perhaps a small settlement on the plateau would be the first one to do this as an introduction. Finally, you would have to escort some settlers from the nearby stable to the new location. Across the map, there are quite a few destroyed villages, many of which are marked with one of Zelda's monuments. Locations that call out to me for this would be Castletown, Gatepost Town, Tabantha Village, Daya Village, Raru's Settlement, Solari Village, and Mabe Village. Akkala Citadel is another location that could use some repairs, but it's not in immediate need of attention. Honestly, its restoration could be something else entirely. Let's move on to that. Number 3. Akkala Citadel Exploration. Akkala Citadel is the largest military stronghold in the land, second only to Hyrule Castle. This place needs a lot of work, so let's start with the basics. There is a Thunder Gleeok that needs to be taken out. Up top are some Gloom Hands to deal with. Some monsters have made a camp on the nearby bridge, and there is a monster nest inside of it. That location counts as a cave, and there are many things about it that have annoyed me as well as other content creators. You enter this cave from the main entrance to the Citadel. The walls appear to be, well, just that, a cave. You would expect the main entrance to resemble the stronghold, wouldn't you? A building made with stone walls, complete with a portcullis. Instead, it appears that the developers treated this as though it was just any other cave. The biggest shame about this one is that the location was already flushed out once before in Age of Calamity. It's feasible that they could have taken those assets and applied them here. Adding more salt to the wound is that there is a Misko bandit treasure hidden at the Citadel, the fierce deity armor contained within. It would have been awesome to travel through the tunnels looking for it, finding collapsed rubble to clear out, and who knows, maybe even solve a puzzle. If they really didn't want to detail the inside of a fortress, they could have had that cave hole drop down under it more, so that way it wasn't so clearly part of the main fort. It actually would have made sense to put a chasm here too, given that in Breath of the Wild there was a huge Sheikah tower in the center of it. I love this game, but sometimes the environment that they crafted feels like a huge mistake. A blunder that shows that they need more oversight from those intimately familiar with the art they are crafting. I am talking about the community, the lore masters, of all the mistakes in the game. This is one of the worst offenders. Let's talk about another one though. Number 4. The Breach of Demise. The Breach of Demise is one of the clearest connections to Skyward Sword in the game. You guys know I don't think that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are in the same continuity as Skyward Sword, and it's because of choices like this that really lead me to that conclusion. In Skyward Sword, Demise and his demons rose up from a rift in the earth, and that sparked the war for the overworld. Goddess Hylia would send her favorite people, the humans, later to be called the Hylians, into the sky for safety. She would then wage her war united with the other races across the surface. I won't recount the full backstory of Skyward Sword here, that's not important. This location though, it was clearly meant to reflect the idea that this was the very spot the demons came from. It's bone-like stone, some people claim to even see faces in it. I wasn't expecting anything big from this location, but a chasm to the depths would have been fitting, something to symbolize a scar left from those ancient times. We don't know if Demise and his demons would have come from the depths. I am actually inclined to say that they didn't, but that perhaps is a theory for another day. Before we move along, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. If you are, could you give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this? You probably know all about the YouTube stuff already, but just know the higher the subscription count, the better the channel does, and the more its content is promoted across the platform. I'm trying to make this my life, guys. Hopefully by the end of this video, I will have earned your subscription. Now, back to the list. Number 5. The Shrine of Resurrection. I'm guessing most of you expected this one, especially given the last two. I'll be frank, I expected more from the Shrine of Resurrection, a lot more. Under it was a huge location. The main room itself was an elevator shaft, and all of this location was carved out of the mountain. I would have loved to see what the place looked like in the ancient past. We can see its exterior in the memory where Zelda, Roru, and Sonia are speaking on the cliff. What we find in the present is basically a small cave, a small shaft going under it, and then a small Yiga hideout. I would have liked to have seen more here, perhaps starting with gloom getting thicker and thicker as you go into it. When you reach the main room where the restoration table was, there could have been a shaft that goes down a fair distance, opening up into a large cave with a lot of gloom around. There would of course be a bubble frog somewhere. Finally, once you reach the area where Master Monk Maz Koshia was, there would be a grand chasm clear as day, falling straight into the spring of revival in the depths. Now, that would have been a worthy creation for this game, don't you think? Number 6. Demon Dragon Loot. Alright, no more talk about chasms, let's talk about dragons. The 4 dragons that you encounter each have pieces that can be harvested. A spike on the spine, a claw from their legs, a scale from their body, a fang from their mouth, and of course, a fragment from their horns. During the end of the game, you face off against the demon dragon in a largely cinematic fight. Let me be clear, this fight is awesome. That being said, there is something missing from it that I really wish they would have included. Dark dragon pieces that could be harvested like the others. Like the other dragons, you can run around on the demon dragon, taking gloom damage of course, and so all of the parts from it could have been available. It would have been really cool to get them and even fuse them with your weapons. Not that you would need them at this point in the game. Well, maybe if you fused a scale to your shield, you could surf down the spine without taking gloom damage. I realized the items would be good for literally only one battle, though I would remind you there are some things that carry over when you complete the game. Things like pictures of the dragons and other entities throughout the finale. And so they could have let you keep your sweet dark dragon loot as well. It would have been cool to have an Edgelord Gerudo Scimitar Demon Horn Blade, don't you think? Moving along. Number 7. Earning your ending. For this last one, I'm going to talk about probably the biggest letdown in the game, Zelda's Restoration. Let me get this out in the open. It feels unearned. Sure, you take down the big bad guy, make his big monster form blow up in something that looks like it's out of a Final Fantasy game. However, the problem still remains. Zelda performed a forbidden act that is stated to be irreversible. When the demon dragon is destroyed, Link appears in some strange realm that is completely unexplained. His hand starts to move on its own. Then, through the power of plot convenience, Rauru and Sonia appear, combining their powers, and undo Zelda's draconification. Yes, I know that Minoru speculates about what happened, but it doesn't really explain anything. Rauru and Sonia combining their powers doesn't seem like it would undo the effect, and while people have floated a super recall idea to explain it, it really all comes out of left field. So my proposal is, the game straight up allows you to have a bad ending with hints of how to fix this. You could do the triggers proactively, of course. A reward for fully exploring the world when you complete the Geoglyph quest. Impa even says that she is looking for information on how to reverse draconification. So my thoughts are, why not build off that? Perhaps some of the floating island tablets could have been repurposed for something a bit more useful. Say, instead of Zelda imparting the fashion choices of mushrooms from Matino Village on the past, they could mention something about dragon ruins. Perhaps the labyrinths, one of which is literally controlled by a Lord of Dragons, could have had something that would be needed to fix Zelda. 3 MacGuffins, probably red, blue, and green, that somehow relate to the Triforce, though not the Triforce itself. The 3 objects would come out floating during that part in the ending. Rauru would take one, Sonia would take another, and Link would hold on to the last one. Then they could spray their hand sparkles on her and fix the problem. With that act done, and only that act, it would then lead to the grand finale where you are diving to save the princess. Once you have her safely in your grasp, it would truly feel earned. There you have it, guys, 7 missed opportunities in Tears of the Kingdom. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I work hard on making these. If you haven't done so already, a like and subscribe would go a long way to helping out around here. Here are my lovely Patreon and channel members. If you would like to join up and help keep things going around here, there is a link to my Patreon in the description. If you do join up, you will gain access to my Discord where we can talk more directly about things. There you can give more direct input on things related to the show. Also, I can get pretty chatty when it comes nighttime, so come and join me for some discussion. That's all I have for you today, guys. Be safe and may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.